Hello everyone, welcome back to the Ros-Albastrii. Now today we move on to season number 5 of the Ros-Albastrii save. Now in our last season we got through to the Champions League final where we were beaten by Arsenal in extra time. A very devastating result. We got the suit on but it didn't have the desired effect. We're going to come back again though by popular demand and we're going to try and lift that Champions League trophy. But first of all we're going to go through the end of season 4. We're going to go through the various awards, the team of the season, etc. Going to have a look at the transfers that we're going to make. We're also going to be playing the Supercupa Romaniei final against CS Craiova, which I'm sure is going to be a very, very entertaining fixture. So let's roll the intro and get into today's episode, everyone. Okay then, let's start things up with a quick recap. Let's get ourselves back into what has happened since we last pretty much put an episode out. Now, we were beaten 3-2 in the Champions League final, courtesy of a really good performance from Alexis Sanchez, a solid performance from him. Mesut Ozil equalised when Callum Gribben opened the scoring in the 68th minute. Jack Wilshere was then sent off in the 87th minute before Alexis Sanchez opened the scoring in extra time. That was followed up by Alex Iwobi in the 108th minute before Christian Lekucha scored an absolute world-class goal in the 150th minute. And we pressed them really hard inside the final few minutes of the game, but we just couldn't close out with a result. And unfortunately, despite the suit, we could not get the job done. Now, our last episode featured a 3-0 victory over CFR Cluj in the Cupa Romaniei final at the National Arena. A dominant performance again from Christian Lekucha. Will Keane opened the scoring via the penalty spot on the 17th minute, but Lekucha added a brace during the game. His first goal coming in the 21st minute and finished things off with a really good solo effort in the 87th minute to put the game at rest. Now we've added more silverware. Unfortunately, we haven't added the European silverware as yet. So we're going to have a quick look now at the overall best 11. First of which we've had 2 players inducted into this season. The first was Callum Gribben, who's been an absolute superstar for us since moving from Manchester United. He has accumulated 80 appearances for Steaua Bucuresti since moving. He scored 38 goals for us and 7.57 rating, which for a attacking midfielder / shadow striker is an absolute fantastic return, considering we picked him up as cheaply as we did. Robert Hodegaard is another player to be added into the squad. He doesn't make the first 11, but he's added into the overall best team with the likes of Dennis Mann, Harlem Naher, etc. So we can see that Gribben has actually made it into that first 11, which is brilliant news. I'm surprised he hadn't made it in there beforehand. Now we're going to have a look at the end of season awards. Now, first of all, the fans player of the season went to Alin Tosca, who picked up the golden medal in that sense with 46% of the fans vote. Callum Gribben in second with 30%, with Will Keane in third, 15% of the fans vote. Signing of the season was Francesco Bardi from Inter Milan, who we picked up for £895,000. Gribben also awarded the Young Player of the Season at 21 years of age. Again, a brilliant season there for Callum Gribben, who's just been a real stalwart since we brought him in. Now we're going to have a look at the goal of the season, which again falls to Callum Gribben. He pretty much almost clean sweep that, really. He was just beaten to the player of the season by Alin Tosca, but yeah, it was just a great season all round from Gribben. So what we're going to do now, guys, is we're going to go in and have a look at this goal of the season. So here we go then. We've got Gribben who steps up, takes the free kick, beautifully puts it past the keeper. Really superb finish that from Gribben. The keeper had absolutely no chance, and that enabled us to beat fierce rivals Dinamo Bucharest 1-0, and that was a really, really solid return. Now we're going to have a look here at the 2019-20 season review. Now we can see here that we're expected to make much of the League One title running, and we did just that, and we absolutely dominated domestically last season. We finished way and above ahead in that league. We lost the final against Arsenal in the Champions League. Our match of the season was the 5-1 victory over Vital Constanta, which came back in December. The moment to forget was CSM Polilazi, where we lost 1-0. Now, I believe that was after we had either beaten, I think we beat or drew against Man City in the Champions League. So the players were a bit tired. It was only a couple of days later. And unfortunately, we did lose that game. But overall, we've been superb throughout. The overall attendance is a bit of a concern. We're only averaging around 31% of capacity, 17,000. Hopefully, we can build on that with the reputation that we're building. We won the league, we won the Supercupa Romaniei, we won the Cupa Romaniei Timisoara, and we also won the Romanian League Cup. We used 31 players, and we've just been a real solid team. Now then, before we get into today's live game, we need to take a look at the transfers that have both come in and gone out. Now, we've got rid of two young regens, Claudio Moldovan, who probably could have done an okay job for us as a backup kind of player. But he has been released from his contract, as has Ian Ripanu, who's just not going to make the grade for us. He played a few games for us, but just isn't going to be good enough now. We've also given Sol Bamba, who has retired. He has now left the club. He's now the head of youth development in his job stats. And to be honest, he's not really going to be rushing with people coming in for offers for his services, looking at those stats. Now, coming in the opposite direction to us, we have picked up a few little players here. Starting with the most expensive, we will go with Florinel Koeman, who has been bought in from Vital Constanta. He scored 49 goals in 144 games for his former club. We managed to pick him up for what I believe was 2.1 or 2 million. Bang on 2 million. Really good signing that. He's 22 years of age. He can only improve, and he's going to link up really well with a few of the young Romanian lads we've got on his side, most notably Cristian Lecucha and a few others. Now, we've also managed to bring in a couple of experienced heads into the team to work with the younger players that we've got. The first of which is Paweł Olkowski, who we've brought in from Cagliari. He played a lot of games for Colm before making the switch to the Serie A, and he played really well for Cagliari last season. He's come in for us. He's a right back option. Obviously, we've got Bryce DJJ and Cyprian Maxim to fulfill those roles, but I think this guy here is going to be pretty much a big player for us this season. And I'm looking forward to getting him into the squad. His stamina, his pace and natural fitness are all going to be big things for us in what is going to be a long season. We've also got a really good work rate. He's a good player. I've had him in a save before and he's really performed well. So I'm happy to bring him in. 1.2 million release clause. You cannot eat value. Now we've got Ruben Perez here, who we've bought in from Granada, who have slipped right down the Football League. They are now into La Liga 1, 2, 3. They've gone down from the Segunda division. They've gone down another tier in the pyramid. Now we've bought in this guy here, Ruben Perez, for £675,000. He's going to be right in the engine room of this team. He's going to be right in the centre of the pot alongside Muniru, Archim. We're going to obviously switch things around depending on who we're playing on and kind of the level of the opposition in which we're coming up against. But, you know, he's got really good mentals. His physicals are very decent. His technicals aren't the greatest, but again, you know, he's going to be there getting that tackling, working box to box. I'm really happy to have managed to acquire his services. Also, along with Ruben Perez, we have managed to bring in Nabosa Jokic, who is a young regen player that we brought in from Crvena Zvezda. He'd only played 2 games, hasn't scored any goals yet, but he's at the very early stages in his career, only 18 years of age. And I think for what we paid, £375,000, and he's on a very small wage as well. I'm very happy with that, really. I'm happy that, you know, he's going to develop into a decent player. We're retraining him into a shadow striker role to see if we can get him in that position. Alexandra Nicorescu, who's come in from Vital Constanta for potentially 400 grand. We picked him up for 300 up front. He's a midfielder. He's going to play in the centre of the park. Obviously, we lost Marian Lucha towards the back end of the season, courtesy of our lovely owners here at Steaua Bucuresti deciding to send him on his way. Now, I'm hoping to build him into what a ball-winning midfielder / box-to-box midfielder. He needs to improve. He's only 17 years of age. We're going to give him time to do that here. And I think he's going to be a decent signing for us in the future. Now, one of the better signings we've made this window is Alexandru Ionita, who we've bought in on a free transfer. He's played a lot of games in a 7-year period at Astra Giurgiu, 160 in total, scoring 43 goals. Now, he's a shadow striker, and he's just going to help add to that kind of that area where we've got a few different options now. We'll have a quick look at the squad. We've got a lot of players in this squad. We need to kind of thin that down a little bit moving forward. But we've got Gribin, Lecucha, we've got Razvan Marin, we've got Florinel Koeman, Wilkeen, Juricevic and Ionita. There's plenty of competition for spaces there. Now, coming up today, we have got our first fixture of what is going to be our 5th season. Now, we've already played 3 games in friendlies. We've dominated all 3 of them, including a 4-1 victory over Copenhagen. Dacia Uni Race succumbed to a 7-0 defeat. We've got Craiova coming up today in the Supercupa Romaniei. Now, we've won this competition, I believe, for the last 2 years. Yes, we have, over Concordia Shajna. Today, we're going to be playing CS Craiova. Their manager amazingly managed to scoop the Manager of the Year award last season. I thought that was going to be us, but for some reason, we weren't even in it. So what we're going to do is we're going to get that game underway next, guys. We're going to do a live comp of that game, and then we're going to look forward to where we're going to come back next and give you the 2nd episode. Okay, so I thought I'd come back here whilst I'm picking the team, just to give you more of an idea of how I go about things. So we're going to go with Valentin Kojakaru in goal for this game. We're going to play on the right-hand side. We're going to play Edin Ibric, who comes into the squad for the first time. He's that young Bosnian regen that we brought in. He's been on loan over in League One to help hone his skills, but I'm happy to now have him in the first team, and he's going to be one of our better centre-backs. So we've also got in there, we're going to have Jack Stevens, and we're going to play Alin Tosca on the left-hand side. Right wing-back position, we're going to give a start to Paweł Olkowski, who we've just brought in, and we're going to have Christy Novacek on the left. Now, obviously, Tosca there is a little bit unfitter than I'd have hoped, so I'm actually going to bring in Kenneth Omaruo instead. I'm going to stick Ibric on the left, Stevens down the middle as usual, and Omaruo in his usual right of centre. Now, the box-to-box midfielder for this game, I'm going to choose, we're going to go with Ruben Perez, and the ball-winning midfielder, I'm going to make sure that we have some good solid legs in there. We're going to go with Maniru for this one. Now, the shadow strikers, we've got plenty of options. We're not going to go with Juricevic because he's carrying an injury at the moment. We are, however, going to go with Razvan Marin on the right. In the middle, we're going to go with Christian Lekucha, and on the left, we're going to go with Will Keane, who's been at, actually, we're going to stick Keane in the middle and move Lekucha over to the left. Now, we're going to give Bardi the first substitution spot. We're also going to hand a spot if this disappears, which it now has. We're going to add, we'll give Edgar I a go in there. We'll also add in Bryce Danger JJ just in case we need any cover in those wing backs. Archie obviously makes the bench, as does Callum Gribbin. We've got a long season ahead, so I'm not too worried about dropping the odd man here and there. Coman will also make the bench, and finally we'll have Iron Eater. Get some of the young lads, well, not young lads, new lads, into the team. So that is it, guys. That is the first 11 for today's game here against CS Craiova. Now we're going to go into the game now. We're going to get everything set up and underway. We're going to give Edin Ibric a number. He's number 67. That is quite a big number. Now, Steaua Bucuresti are a good side, and they think we've got enough quality to see off CS Craiova today, which I think is probably about correct. We are 4-6 favourites with the bookmakers, bet 190, 9-4 the draw, 7-2 CS Craiova. We're going with the usual formation here of the shadow striker formation with the wing backs. They're going with a 4-2-3-1 formation, which has served them well. Not against us, though, I must add, but it's served them well in general. Now we're going to make sure that we put their wide players to cut inside onto their weaker foot, because we want to try and condense this game towards the centre. We're also going to stick a bit of hard tackling on their lesser players. Try and force a mistake from them. So we're going to, I mean, there's not much in the way of talent in this team, I'll have to admit. So we're just going to go in and out. We're going to make sure we try and exploit whatever we can and come away with a good result. Belucha is not as good as the one that we've brought in, I've got to say. Now we'll keep it, I think we'll probably keep it to that. Now we will also go in hard on Miguel Martin. So we're going to make sure that we are playing this game. We're going to go back to 3D for this game. However, we will watch it on the data analyst role. So we're going to key highlights, obviously, because I'm aware that we've taken up quite a bit of time so far. So we're just going to go in there and give the team talk. Now we're going to go, we want to avenge what happened the last time we played them, because obviously the last time we played them, they got that victory over us. It was a lucky victory, but they managed to get it nevertheless. So we don't want any more of that today. We want to add our third Supercupa Romaniei to our to our belts, really. So here we go then. We've kicked off here in the first half. We've got, we're kicking from right to left. There's not a lot going on in the early stages of this game, so we're just going to come back when there's a highlight. We've got a highlight then, and it is Craiova with the cross in towards Kojikaru, but Kojikaru with a really good save now, plays the ball out to Eddie Nybrich. Jack Stevens now to Ruben Perez, out wide to Kenneth Omaruo now on the ball. He's got time though, and he moves forward with the ball, plays a lovely right-footed pass there, and Ruben Perez now finds Maniru. To Lakucha now advances forward. Novosek, who's already on a yellow, cuts inside, finds Maniru. Perez, lovely back heel to Keane, and Alkowski's through on goal, and Powell Alkowski adds his first game goal for Steaua Bucuresti. We're now 1-0 ahead in, and we'll see on this this replay now that it's Keane through to Marin. Alkowski gets behind the back line and lovely beats the keeper at his near post. And we've added our first goal of the game. We're 1-0 up here against CS Craiova. A very, very good start here for the lads. So that is very, very promising. Now, Razvan Marin has picked up a bruised rib at half-time. So what we're going to do now is we're going to go in first of all, give the team talk as we plan, tell them that they've got one hand on the cup, and just the usual. We expect a little bit more. So we're going to bring Gribbin on first of all. For Marin, who's picked up that rib injury. Stevens now plays the ball to Lakucha. Now we're kicking from right to left here, and Keane now plays in Gribbin, who sidesteps. What lovely bit of skill up from Gribbin now. Alkowski plays the ball in towards Lakucha. Maniru picks the ball up on the edge of the box, finds Perez in towards Novosek, and Novosek adds his goal, his first goal of the season for Steaua Bucuresti. And we're now 2-0 up here against CS Craiova. Lovely finish that there from Novosek. He's already on a yellow as well, and he's just crept in behind and again, lovely outside of the left foot there, past the keeper. The keeper possibly should have done better than that. And 49 minutes in, we are now 2-0 to the good here against CS Craiova. And that is really, really promising stuff here. The lads are playing well. We're not doing too much at the top end of the pitch, but certainly our wing-backs are really performing. Now, we're just going to quickly go in now. We're going to give Florin Coleman a start here for Will Keane. And we're also going to bring on Bryce JJ for Novosek, who's obviously on that yellow card now. He scored that goal, and it's probably going to be a bit unfair to take him off. But we're just going to do that now, just running the clock down. And that is it, boys and girls. We've just beaten CS Craiova 2-0 here in the Supercupa Romaniei. We've added the third Supercupa Romaniei to our hauls now in recent seasons. And Steaua Bucuresti again continue this dominant performance here on domestic turf, and we've just done that really in quite good style. It was a bit of a boring game really throughout. We relied on our wing backs to get us on the score sheet. Razvan Marin is out for 2 to 3 days after picking up that bruised rib, so that's not the end of the world. So yeah, that is another piece of silverware. It's our first piece of silverware. We're just going to give this guy a bit of a positive after that thing there. So here we go then. So we've just won our game 2-0. Now I'm going to simulate right away through to the 16th of the 9th 2020, where we're going to be playing our first game in the Champions League. Now depending on who it's against, if I feel that we can probably beat them easily, then I'll skip right away down until the 30th of the 9th for the next game. But join me again on what I believe will be Friday. We might come back Thursday though, so do check back on the channel tomorrow just in case. It'll be the usual time slot of 4 PM. So I hope you've enjoyed today's episode, guys. Please drop a like on the video down below if you've enjoyed it. Leave any comments that you've got. If you're happy to see the series back in full swing, let me know. And join me again next time. But for today, that is it, guys.